In 1998, an American man buys an island for nearly $8 billion. Looking at the map, this 75-acre island was part of the United States Virgin Islands in the Caribbean. Its name was Little St. James. From the outside, this private island was nothing less than paradise. Beautiful beaches, lots of greenery. In the middle, there was a palace-like luxury mansion. All around were luxury guest villas. 2 large swimming, a gym, and even a helipad. But hidden inside this very paradise was a very dark truth. Because of which people living on the surrounding islands called this island Pedophile Island. Here, minor girls aged 12 to 17 were trafficked and sexually abused. These girls couldn't even escape because the ocean surrounded them on all sides. Once, a 15-year-old girl tried to swim and escape, but she was caught and her passport was taken away. The most surprising thing is who used to come to this island. Rich people from all over the world, billionaires and famous celebrities. Many big names were included. Britain's Prince Andrew, scientist Stephen Hawking, comedian Chris Tucker. Who knows how many politicians and billionaires had visited this island? Parties were organized for them here. But the question is, who owned this island?
Jeffrey
Epstein.
The answer is one named Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein used to teach math to children in Brooklyn at one time. He was a school teacher. But fate played such a game that later in his career, he suddenly became a financial advisor to billionaires. Accumulating a fortune of nearly $60 million, he becomes a multi-millionaire. His friends included Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, and even Israel's former Prime Minister Ehud Barak. Let's find out the truth behind America's biggest scandal, the full story of the Epstein files.
Any comments on the alleged allegation of your connection with Jeffrey Epstein?
What was happening on Epstein Island, what was going on, remained hidden for many years. But in 2005, a small police complaint became the trigger for this case. It was March 2005. In Palm Beach, Florida, a 14-year-old girl and her parents file a complaint at the local police station. The girl says that a classmate of hers from Royal Palm Beach High School took her to a rich man's house. She was told she just had to give a massage and would get $200 to $300 for it. But something else happened there. Epstein meets that girl wearing only a towel. He tells the girl to take off her clothes and then molest her. When the police asked the first victim if she knew any other girl who had gone to Epstein's place, she gave 2 names. When they talked to those 2 girls, 2 more names came up. And when they talked to those 2 more names came up. The police were surprised to see that this chain just wouldn't stop. By the time the police tracked 1 victim, 2 more would appear. Within a few months, the Palm Beach police chief had identified 35 victims and dozens more were being tracked. The most heartbreaking thing was that every girl's story was exactly the same. Everyone was called under the pretext of a massage.
She led me up a staircase and we made a right into Jeffrey's room. And Jeffrey laying naked on the massage table.
Most victims were girls aged 13 to 16 and came from poor families. Many didn't even have parents. They were orphans. So there was no one to listen to.
I really wanted this job. So I opened up to them. I said, look, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for me. I've been on the streets, I've been abused, and that's the worst thing that I could have done. Because I just let them know that I'm vulnerable and I'm their perfect type.
The police saw this was no small case. It was a properly organized pyramid scheme. Every girl got extra money for bringing a new girl. Because of this, one girl would bring another, and that girl would bring a third. In this way, a chain was formed, and most of these girls were under 18 years old. By May 2006, Palm Beach police had prepared a full case against Epstein. The case was so strong that in July 2006, the FBI also started an investigation named Operation Leap Year. A 53-page report was made. Statements from victims were taken from Florida to New York to New Mexico. Epstein was charged with international sex trafficking.
I was 16 years old. I was 16.
17, 14 years old.
This is me. This was me.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
This is me when I met Jeffrey Epstein.
36 minor victims, dozens of witnesses, an FBI investigation, and such heavy charges. A man like Jeffrey Epstein should have rotted in jail for life. But the truth is, friends, something else was going on behind the scenes. Miami's federal attorney Alexandra Costa was making a secret deal with Epstein's lawyers. This deal seemed to be made to save Epstein. He just had to plead guilty to 2 minor prostitution charges, and in return, he and his accomplices were given immunity from all other criminal charges, meaning no other case could be filed against him. The most shocking thing about this deal was that it was sealed, meaning no one could even see this deal. The victims, the poor girls, were not even told about it. While according to American law, it is mandatory to inform victims about any such deal. But no one could do anything. On June 30th, 2008, Epstein appears in court and, according to the deal, pleads guilty to 2 charges, after which he is sentenced to only 18 months in prison. Only 18 months. During this sentence, Epstein was kept in the private wing of the Palm Beach County Jail. He was given permission to go to his luxury office for 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. This jail was so first class that Epstein only went there to sleep at night. And even after all this, in July 2009, 5 months before his sentence was completed, he is released from jail. All this was possible because of that secret deal, because of Alexander Costa, who got Epstein this deal. Now see the twist in the story, friends. This same Alexander Costa later becomes the Secretary of Labor in the first government of Epstein's old friend Donald Trump.
For Secretary of the Department of Labor will be Mr. Alex Acosta.
For the next several years, Epstein continues to live his life normally. Nothing happens to him. He travels in his private jet, throws lavish parties on his island, and meets powerful people. Our story ends here. The villain gets away, but in a corner of the world there was a woman. A journalist who was determined not to let this Epstein get away, Julie K. Brown. She was an American investigative journalist working for the Miami Herald newspaper. After Epstein's release in 2009, she kept following the case closely. After studying the case for years, in November 2018, she publishes her report. Not one, not two, but a whole series of reports on Epstein's crimes and how the system saved Epstein. Julie named it Perversion of Justice. These reports bring a new explosion in the media. Public anger awakens, demands for a new investigation against Epstein begin to rise, and due to all this pressure, in New York, an investigation against Epstein starts again. In her investigation, Julie had identified more than 80 potential victims. In her reports, she interviewed and documented 8 of them. The evidence was very clear. Therefore, in July 2019, Epstein is arrested once again. This time, he was directly charged with sex trafficking, which could carry a sentence of up to 45 years. But then comes the biggest twist in our story, friends. On August 10th, 2019, Epstein is found dead in jail.
The disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Epstein took his own life while he was behind bars facing charges of sex trafficking.
Officially, the world is told that Epstein used a bedsheet to commit suicide inside his cell. But the circumstances here were such that many questions were raised. Actually, the thing is that Epstein was alone in his cell that night. There was no other prisoner with him. And by coincidence, that night, the jail's cameras were not working. They had some technical problems. Therefore, there is no video footage available that shows that Epstein actually did this himself. Because of this, conspiracy theories started spreading that Epstein did not commit suicide here but was murdered.
The video was released by the Department of Justice to prove that no one entered Epstein's cell before he was found dead, and that he really did take his own life. But it's only fueling more conspiracy theories.
The amazing thing was that among those spreading these theories were Donald Trump supporters. Sometime later, Trump himself retweets a tweet that said Epstein did not commit suicide. Rather, he had secret information about Bill Clinton, so Bill Clinton had him killed. Among Trump supporters, Epstein didn't kill himself became a popular slogan. In the 2024 American presidential elections, Donald Trump makes this a big issue. He promises that as soon as he becomes president, he will make all of Epstein's files public. Repeatedly, whenever he was asked in interviews if he would declassify the Epstein files, Trump would answer, absolutely, yes, I would.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
In January 2025, Trump wins the elections again and becomes the president of America. Now, everyone was waiting. When will these Epstein files be released? Trump supporters, in particular, were most excited about this. But in July 2025, the Justice Department of the Trump administration announced that no list of Epstein's clients exists, and now no files will be released. Then Trump himself took a U-turn. He started calling the Epstein files a boring issue, saying it's a Democratic Party hoax that will never end.
It's pretty boring stuff. Democrat hoax that never ends.
Trump said the FBI should focus on important issues like voter fraud and not waste its energy and time on issues like Epstein. Now, no one's supporters are so foolish that they wouldn't notice this. So Trump's own supporters started questioning why Trump suddenly fell silent. Elon Musk even tweeted and said that Trump's name is in the Epstein files. That's why these files are not being released. Although Elon later deleted this tweet, the message was clear that even Trump's closest supporters were becoming suspicious. And when people tried to search on their own, some very shocking facts came to light here. Trump and Epstein's old friendship, a very old connection. According to the New York Times, Trump and Epstein were best friends for almost 20 years. This friendship began in the 1980s. And by the 1990s, it became so deep that both started spending time together at each other's mansions, offices, at Trump's Plaza Hotel, and casinos. Epstein was seen with Trump at almost every party. According to a former employee of Epstein in the 1990s, Trump and Epstein would talk on the phone at least 3 times a week. Many times Epstein would talk to Trump on speakerphone in the office. In these conversations, Trump would boast in front of Epstein about what he did with which woman. According to model Stacey Williams, for Trump and Epstein, women were like trophies. Stacey alleged that in 1993, when she was dating Epstein, one day she went with him to Trump Tower, where Trump pulled her towards him and touched her inappropriately. Epstein was watching all this happen, and according to Stacey, Epstein liked that he had a model that Trump was pursuing. Similarly, according to another victim, at the parties where Epstein would force her to have sex with other guests, Trump was also present. Trump also traveled on Epstein's private jets, on which Epstein often sexually abused girls. In 2002, Trump himself had said about Epstein, "He's a lot of fun to be with. It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do. And many of them are on the younger side," meaning Trump knew that Epstein liked younger women. Trump also signed a note for Epstein in his book Trump, The Art of the Comeback. To Jeff, "You are the greatest." Because of this friendship, conspiracy theories began to emerge that maybe Trump is also among those who have some damaging details in the Epstein files. And that's why he doesn't want to make all the files public. Rumors started spreading among the public about these things. Because of these conspiracy theories, public pressure increased so much that in November 2025, a bill was introduced in the US Congress stating that the Justice Department must release all of Epstein's files within 30 days. On November 19th, Trump was forced to sign this bill. Some Trump supporters were excited that finally Bill Clinton would be exposed, and the conspiracy theories that have been going on for years would now have proof. But when the day of December 19th came, the Justice Department released only a few thousand files. Then on December 23rd, 300 more documents were released. But these documents were heavily redacted. What emerged from these files was less about Clinton and more about Donald Trump. Repeatedly, Donald Trump's name came up in the Epstein files. According to one email, Trump traveled on Epstein's private plane 8 times. The same Trump who always said he never sat on Epstein's plane. Similarly, in another email sent to a reporter, Epstein had written that Trump knew about the girls because he had told Maxwell to stop all this. Meaning, according to Epstein, Trump knew what was happening but still remained silent and didn't tell the police. The new revelations are the most shocking. A call came to the FBI. This call was made by a limousine driver on October 27, 2020, just before the US presidential election. This driver told the FBI that in 1995, when he was taking Trump to Texas airport, Trump was on the phone saying Jeffrey and talking about abusing some girl. According to the call record, 4 years later in 1999, when the driver told this to a woman, she became completely quiet and then said, "Trump and Epstein raped me." This woman told the driver that some girl took her to a fancy hotel or building where she was raped. That Trump, who was making the Epstein files an electoral weapon before the election, is now trapped in it himself.
The list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
The Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
The most important question here is, what else is hidden in these files? It is claimed that Epstein had evidence against powerful people, and there was also a complete list of who came to his island. With time, we will see how many more presidents, prime ministers, billionaires, millionaires, and princesses are entangled in this, and how many people's names will come up in Epstein's black book.